Hi, everybody. Last show for the week, I promise. We've absolutely done so many shows for you guys this week. I hope you've actually enjoyed it and we haven't driven you too mad with lots and lots of reminders and posts. Tell us, it's Saturday. Is anybody out seeing live music today? Because there is so much on everywhere. It's fantastic to see. I can't see who's on today. My phone is being my internet because there's not a lot of reception here. So if you're here, pop it in the comments, say hi. I can see who's watching. We've got Jamie Lindsay to talk to today, and he's in Tassie, as am I, but we're in different ends of the state. So we're going to have a chat to him about his shows tonight and what he's got coming up for the rest of the year. We will welcome him into the room. Hello.
Hey, Danni. Thanks for having me on your show.
Oh, I love having you on, always. It's so weird that we're in the same state and we can't be together doing this show. But how are you? It's been a pretty full-on year for you, hasn't it?
Look, it really has, Danni, and it's been the best year that I've ever had as far as career-wise. Having ARIA #1 for my album in March was just a massive achievement. And that's been snowballing since then, which has been great. And then, of course, it's been the worst year because I lost my mum a few weeks ago, and that's been, absolutely gut-wrenching. So I'm still processing all that, and I've been coming down to Tassie quite a lot over the last month, due to that. And so all these shows, like I came down for the awards a couple of weeks ago, and tonight's show, all that was pre-planned months and months and months ago. And then when my mum got sick, obviously that was not planned. And then to have to kind of deal with that. So yeah, it's been one hell of a year from, one spectrum to the next. But we soldier on, we rally on, and we just take it day by day. But I'm not going to dwell on that because it's I'm very happy to be here again, playing at the Italian Club tonight.
Yes.
I've got so much history at the club. As I just said before, I had my 21st birthday at the club.
It was so good when you told me that. It's such a beautiful round circle, isn't it?
It really is. And that club's such a big supporter of Tasmanian country music. And music in general, and I've been playing there since I was 17. And so to come back, when I started thinking about where I wanted to play, I came back in, I think it was May that I did my first show back there. You were there. You and your mum were there, which was lovely. And all our family. A lot of the people out there probably don't realise that Danni and I are actually really, really connected. And our paths have probably crossed over the years because my father's family is from Whitemore, which Danni's family is as well.
My family,
And my mother's family is from Mathina. My mum's a Mathina girl. And
my mum is
your mum's family is from Mathina too.
Two smallest towns ever, and
I know it's such a coincidence. We are so connected. We were destined to cross paths. Absolutely, and it's really, I think the world of you, and I think the world of your family as well. And every time we've caught up, that's my dad's grandfather clock going off in the background.
Beautiful. I love it.
It is beautiful. It is beautiful. So yeah, it's a big coincidence, just the connection that we have.
It really is. Yeah, I love.
And
I love
actually
that.
I'm actually going up to Mathina tomorrow because we are burying my mum's ashes. We have a family plot at the graveyard. So I'm heading up there with my sisters and some of my family, and we are doing that. So tomorrow will be definitely a emotional day. It'll be a hard day, but tonight's all about music. I'm really looking forward to the show. When I was down the first time, the show went really well, but the next time I wanted to do, it was so good. It was so much fun. It was great to see everyone. There was so many family and friends there that I hadn't seen for years and years and years.
Me too. I just saw these faces walking to us. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't think I've seen them since I was a kid. And it's just such a special night. And the venue sounded amazing.
Yeah.
And the other thing that we were talking about just before we went live is you use local bands. You
I do.
support Tasmanian musicians and venues, and it's so special that you get to do that in your own home, in your hometown.
We've got some great musicians here, and that's probably the main reason. Another reason is obviously it's quite expensive to bring a full band over here, and I just feel that I don't need to.
No.
Like there's so many great musicians here in Tasmania. I just got on the phone and rang around and found who was available, and off we go.
And you found one of your cousins then.
and then the bass player is your cousin.
Yep, you found my cousin. Like I turned up that night, and I'm like, oh, this is fun.
Hi, Grant.
Incredible.
Oh, mate. But you know what the saying? Every time I come down to Tassie, and I run into people, and we're like, I know such and such, or I'm related to such and such. I say the same word. It's Tassie.
Yeah, it's so Tasmanian, isn't it?
It's just so Tasmania. And look, it's wonderful. We're all so connected. Tonight's going to be extra special. I've got two fantastic acts. I'm not going to say the word supporting because that doesn't seem right, but I've got two other acts that are also performing with me as well. Dennis Quillerat, who's such a great crooner, does all the old school country rock, Elvis-y kind of stuff. He's great. He's so good. Yeah, he's playing first, and then he'll do a set, and then I've got the queen of country music, Gina Timms, performing as well. And look, she does a couple of Dolly songs. My mum was a huge Dolly fan, and she's doing a couple of Dolly songs in her set, and oh my God, it's really
Gina's vocals and talent, it's a next level. Both of them are absolutely incredible musicians.
They are, and it's wonderful. So when I thought about after May, when I thought about coming back down again, I kind of wanted to do a different show this time. I wanted to definitely do more of a variety show. The last time I did 3 sets, which was great. But this time I wanted to kind of more incorporate other acts such as Dennis, Gina, and just make it more of a variety show, something for everybody kind of thing. So no matter what you're into, whether it's the old school country or 90s country, new age, rock country, pop country, old school rock and roll, new rock and roll, we're going to have something for you tonight.
It is. Oh, I'm so upset. I would love to be there.
I know. I can't believe that you're in Mathina right now.
No,
which will be a great show, and I wish I was there too. And then I'm going to be in Mathina tomorrow. You'll be there tomorrow, so we'll catch up tomorrow quickly.
We definitely will. And you got to see my sister last night in Perth, and my mum.
Right. Absolutely. So the coincidence is just I was asked to come into LAFM, which is the commercial radio station here in Launceston, to do a radio interview. And then I got a call from the presenter on Monday, and he said, "Oh, look, we've been running this competition about who's got the best cul-de-sac, not street, cul-de-sac. Who's got the best cul-de-sac, only in Tasmania. And we're going to be running the show live from the cul-de-sac." And he said, "Would you like to come out and be a part of the show?" I said, "Yes, that sounds like a hoot." So then it turns out that your sister lives in that cul-de-sac.
And it's only a tiny little one.
And it's only a little cul-de-sac of half a dozen houses. And of course, your sister has to be in one of those houses. I was like, only in Tasmania.
Only Tasmania. Only Tasmania. Where they had you set up with the microphone was right across from her driveway.
I was staring at her house.
Yeah.
She could hear me in her kitchen.
Oh dear, it was just
And she
all this
is so lovely. Your sister is so lovely. It was so nice to meet her. She just reminds me of you, actually. And it's just a throwback to really good stock. To be honest, you obviously come from really good stock, and your mum was out there as well, and I got to
Yes,
give a hug to your mum, which
she was.
was lovely. And look,
She
I
was.
just Tassie's special, man.
It
People
is.
don't realize how
No,
when you come from Tasmania, it's something else. It really
yeah,
is. It's something else. I
and it's
love
a huge
living
place.
in. Yeah, it's just it's wonderful. We're all really connected. We're all really supportive of each other, um, and I've missed it. I
Yeah,
love where I live. I live on the central coast of New South Wales. It's a beautiful spot. I live there with my beautiful wife and my little kids,
beautiful.
and it's a wonderful spot, and it's the mecca of country music. We've got Rod McCormick, Gina
Yeah,
Jeffries, Duncan Toombs, Adam Harvey, Casey Chambers. So it's a
so many
wonderful,
there.
so many on the central coast, and that's where I live. I live like 20 minutes from all those people that I just mentioned.
Is that where you first moved? Because I know you were overseas as well, but is that where you first moved to when you left Tasmania?
No, I first moved to Melbourne.
Yeah.
And I lived there for a couple of years, and then I moved up to Sydney, and I got to Sydney in 2001.
Okay.
And I lived in Sydney. I lived all around Sydney up until about 7 years ago when I moved up to the Central Coast. And it was time for me to get out of Sydney. I wanted the simple life. I wanted, just a bit of a slower pace. And the Central Coast is a real wonderful mix of beach and country.
Yes.
It reminds me a lot of Launceston.
Yeah.
I grew up in Hadspen, and it reminds me a lot like that.
Very nice, welcoming feeling.
It really does. But when I come to Tassie, yeah, it's something else. I did another radio interview this morning, and I was walking around Launceston, and just the memories that keep flooding back into my head. Childhood memories, and I went into Barrett's Music yesterday, and I grew up in
I
Barrett's
love
Music.
Barrett. It's my favourite store growing up too. I love that place.
Yeah, and so I went in there, and that's what Tassie does to me. It's
Yeah,
really
it's
quite
really huge.
emotional.
It is emotional, but I think that because it brings out those emotions. I think it heals people, and the fresh air, and it's just it's a magical place. We're so lucky to have it.
It really is, and even actually being out in Perth yesterday, and it was a beautiful day. We were so lucky with the weather, and I was just out there, and I mean, Perth's a beautiful town. Everything's very spaced out, and no one's on top of each other or anything like that. And actually, by the way, I do have to say, it was a very good looking cul-de-sac. It was one of the nicest cul-de-sacs I've ever seen.
It is so good.
I understand why it won.
Yes, absolutely. And they all, it's so funny. They are all so, the kids will go out and play, and they look after it. Like, if they're watching someone's kids, it's just a beautiful little area. And then that area with the grass where you were performing, they play sports, and it's just perfect for them. It's a very family orientated area.
I wish you could be at my show tonight. I miss
Me
you, Dan.
too.
You're such a special soul, You are so lovely, and we just I'm looking forward to. I know. It just happened to work out that way. But look, I'm sure the show up at Mathina will be wonderful. Josh is great, and I really hope you guys get a great crowd. I know that
and you
Adrian.
too.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty confident.
I think we've got very different performances. So what you're doing at your club is a nice indoor one, and the one here, we're literally closing the road, and it's in the middle of the road, as you're doing, Mathina. It's, where are we going to put the stage? Let's put it on the road. But it works. You've got a beautiful venue with amazing people. So between the two shows this weekend. And Amber Lawrence is also in Hobart as well.
I know.
And so between the three of us, Tassie's just incredible this weekend.
I can tell you a little story about Mathina, because as growing up, most weekends it was either Mathina or Whitemore. We had a big farm up at Whitemore, and we spent a lot of time up at the farm. You know, we had like motorbike and chopping wood and hunting and fishing, and you know that was my life. But on the flip side of that, we would go up to Mathina, and we had a little shack up there on my pop's farm, on my pop's little block, which is actually across the road from the primary school there. And so I used to go down to the creek, and I remember like skimming stones down at the river with my sisters.
River,
and the gully.
Pan for gold in the river?
Well, I actually panned for gold up at the gully, which is up near the pub, and over to, like, if you're driving into Mathina, the pub's on the right, and the gully is up over on the left, and there's like a little kind of creek there. Used to be an old man called Mr. Guy, and my mum used to always go around there and see Mr. Guy, and he'd make us a cup of tea, and we'd have some Anzac biscuits and stuff, and then we'd go panning for gold in the creek. He had lots of gold, lots of little Vegemite jars full of flakes of gold and little nuggets of gold. And you know what? There's still a lot of gold still up in Mathina.
There is,
There is. There is still lots up there, you know. So, yeah, just little memories like that. So it's going to be – I haven't been to Mathina for a very, very long time, probably 20 years.
Wow.
So it's going to be really, really special coming into the town tomorrow.
It will, yes.
Yeah.
You've got to love it. And, you know, it's funny because, I've been coming here and helping out a bit with music and doing different things, and you go home just so refreshed.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what it's like at shows. We don't stop working. It's flat out, but it is still relaxing, and you just go home feeling so special. And I think that's Tassie is extra level on top of that amazing special feeling you get when you do music anywhere.
So I have to tell you this story, which just popped into my head, if that's okay. So back in the late 90s, I took a photographer up to Mathina, and he lived in Launceston, and I took him up there because I went to have some photos at the falls, at the Mathina Falls, right? Just some promo photos of me at the time. And we stayed at my mum's place, which was on the main road, and there was no streetlights, like hardly any, right? So depending on where you lived, you might have had a street light, but there was probably only 4 or 5 street lights for the whole main road. And I remember, because we shared a room, 2 single beds, and he said to me, he said, "Oh my God," he said, "it's so dark. I can't even see my hand." You know, he said, "I'm lying in bed. I can't even see my hand. It's so dark." Yeah. You know, I was like, that's what a country town is, you know, with no moonlight or no like street lights. It's pitch black, you know. Anyway.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And that's also part of Tassie, isn't it? Like the cleanest air you could ever breathe in. Tell you what, one thing I find, and you might be a bit like this, Jamie, every time I have artists come down and they come to my house and they taste the Tassie milk or the Tassie cream, it ruins milk and cream for them, for everyone when they go back. Do you notice the difference? Do you notice that?
Well, I got to be honest. I don't drink dairy. I don't have any dairy in my diet, and I haven't had for a very long time. But what I do notice the water, and the air. Yeah. We have the most cleanest water here in Tasmania, even just from the creek. Go to any creek
out of the river. We just that's straight from the river. That's our drinking water. It's the freshest, cleanest.
Well, I'm in Hadspen right now, and I'm looking at the river that I grew up beside, which is the South Esk River, and it is, it's just beautiful. But yeah, so
I love kayaking there. It's beautiful.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Yeah, man. I spent all my summers down there growing up with my sisters, and I've just Amazing.
And you know, Tassie is one of those few places that, you know, kids can still do that sort of thing, and it's safe. You know, the kids, you know, I remember you came home for tea when it's dark, you know, or when the dark comes in, you know, you out in the creeks, you're running around together. It was just it's a safe and perfect spot for kids to have that upbringing, and they still get that outside. You know, a lot of places now, kids are, you know, technology, but in Tassie they're still outside playing until dark, and you know, fishing and running around. It's just special, and it's something
I call Tasmania the last frontier. It's kind of the last pure kind of place that's kind of a little bit in a time warp, you know. For the better.
Great.
It's great.
Definitely,
you know?
Definitely, yeah.
So
and I think that's what I love coming to mainland for shows and gigs, and then come home. And you're right, it is old. It's an old-fashioned, but it's like stepping back in that relaxing era rather than coming to that hustle and bustle, isn't it?
It really is. And actually, you live in one of the nicest places in Launceston. Avondale is gorgeous. If anyone is coming to Tassie, be sure to get to Avondale. It's one of those just beautiful old colonial style towns.
It is, yes.
It's got so much charm.
Yes, it's beautiful. That's why. Well, that was why I always wanted to go there, and I was really lucky that, you know, 2008. It was before it skyrocketed, and now I'll always have my home in Avondale. It'll always be with us. Mav Menzies said he loves that we call it tea, and it is. That's such a Tasmanian thing, isn't it? What do you have for tea? I'll tell you a story. I went to Hobart for some shows a few years ago, and we were staying in accommodation, and we met this man that was actually from Sydney, but he was American, and he had some friends there, and we've just met in the dining room area, and we just hit it off, and we're like, oh, well, would you like to come out for tea with us? He said, changed and things, and so we said, well, this is where we're going, it's booked, we'll meet you there. And he went and ate and came for tea because he thought that was what he's like. I thought it was a bit strange when he said, would you like to come for tea?
I mean, every time my mum or my dad, I'd be on the phone and I'd have them on speakerphone, and they'd ask me, what are you doing for tea? My wife, who's from New South Wales, from Sydney, would go, tea? What is that? You know, like high tea? No. They're talking about dinner. They're talking about dinner. So it's a.
And everyone says, well, what's dinner? Lunch for here? We call lunch dinner as well.
That's exactly right. It's exactly right. I know it's weird. People on the mainland don't understand. It's a Tassie thing. It's Tassie.
It is, and it was just I'd never seen that before. When he came out and he's like, oh, I've eaten, and we're like, oh, we didn't even realize that wasn't a common name for people. We're just so used to it.
No,
that's right.
Lunch. It's only here.
Lunch. Yeah, that's right. There's quite a few people tuning in. Ryan, he's tuning in saying hi. Paula is here. I haven't seen you for a while, Paula. I hope you're doing really well. And she said she wishes she could be here.
Absolutely. I love Paula.
Lindsay's in the room and he can't make it to either tonight. And Chris is also here. If you're here in the comments, leave a comment because I haven't got I'm using my phone for the internet, so I can't look at the names as they pop in. Potato cakes. Oh my goodness, yes.
Potato scallops over there, man. Potato
scallops.
Isn't
that like a fish? Like scallops to me are.
Scallops is scallops, you know.
Yeah.
Potato cake is what we call it over here. Potato scallop is what they call it over there.
Yeah. And it's funny, isn't it? But yeah, always potato.
It's a cake. It looks like a cake. It doesn't look like a scallop.
Exactly. A scallop to me is you're going to get some seafood. A potato cake.
When I order them, because I do actually have them every now and then, when I order one, I go, can I please have a potato scallop, please? I just want to say cake, but they wouldn't know.
I know. And they look at you like, what are you talking about when you say that?
Yeah.
Like, what do you think it is? Like, it's just so crazy.
Bloody mainlanders.
We've got quite a few things. You've got your show tonight, Jamie, at what time do you doors open tonight if people want to come along?
Yeah, doors open about 7:30. I think the show will probably kick off not too long after that, probably about 8 o'clock. Depending on around there. Like it's the Italian club, we'll just very relaxed, when it feels right, we'll start.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's right. And it works. It just works.
Yeah.
But I noticed you've still got a few more gigs coming up before the year's finished.
I do. I've got a lot of corporate. I've got a lot of Christmas parties. I've got a lot of gigs around the Central Coast and Sydney. As you can see, my December gigs are pretty full on. Yes. And then obviously January, and then leading up to Tamworth. I've got a very busy Tamworth. I haven't really told anyone what's happening in Tamworth, but I have some pretty cool things happening this year.
Very exciting.
Yeah, I can't let anything out of the bag just yet, because the artist that I'm performing with, I'll just shut up now.
Lots of exciting things to come.
Yes. Tamworth's going to be really cool, really, really cool. So that will happen. That starts on the 17th, 18th of January. So we'll get Christmas out of the way and all that.
Yep.
And then we'll get into Tamworth. And then I kind of hit the road again. I kind of, March, I'm doing Victoria again. And also up the Gold Coast. I've got 2 shows up on the Gold Coast in March and 2 shows in Victoria in March as well. So, and I start working on my next record with Rod McCormick.
Oh, how talented is he? He's amazing.
Rod's amazing. I've been wanting to work with him like pretty much since the late 90s, and I've actually developed a really nice relationship with him over the last few years. And he's been on my bucket list. He's probably my favorite Australian record producer. The last 2 albums I've produced myself. But I was having a conversation with Rod months and months ago, and I was talking about the next record. And he said, "Oh, who are you getting to produce it?" I said, "Oh, well, I'd like you to do it if you wanted to." He goes, "I'd love to." So that's kind of where all that just kind of started. I was just going to produce it myself, but I didn't think he'd be interested. But he said, "I'd love to do it." So the thing about Rod, the thing about Rod is he picks and chooses. He's in that position. He's one of the best, not just in Australia, but Nashville as well. And he can pick and choose. He's absolutely amazing, so I was very chuffed that he wanted to work with me.
And he picks music that he relates to and that he feels, doesn't he? Because it's so that's just another level. It shows how much he likes your music, because he obviously understands it, and
And I've kind of I'm always about learning, moving forward, and he's an amazing producer, and I'd like to learn from him as well. And so spending a couple of months with him looking over his shoulder will be absolutely wonderful for me as a producer as well.
Sponge to soak it all in. Learn everything you can. It'll be amazing. Hi, Susan. There was a comment there from Mav. This guy's the reason I call myself Mav. That sounds like there's a story to that.
There is a story. Should I tell it, or should Mav tell it?
Oh, what would you like us to do? Tell us in the comments. Also, Susan has popped in the room. Jan's popped in the room. There's lots of people in today. While we're waiting for Mav to respond, what have you got down here merch-wise? Can we still get some merch at tonight's show, and if any of the rest for the year's albums, that sort of thing?
I have bought 30 kilos down of merch with me. Virgin hated me when I rocked up to the airport. I've got a brand new line of t-shirts. Actually, I've actually got a new line of kind of ringer style t-shirts, which is white with the black logo, and they have the rings around them, like kind of 70s retro style. So I have them. Yeah, I have them, and they're probably more suited to the female, because they're a bit more stylish, a bit more vibey than the more black band shirt kind of thing, which are not always flattering,
No, some of them aren't, are they? But that sounds
No.
lovely. I can't wait to see them. Are they on your
Yeah.
website?
No, they're
Yes.
not yet.
No?
I literally picked them up 2 weeks ago, and I have not had a chance to put them on the website yet.
Yep.
So I do have them with me tonight, and I have my black ones, I have CDs, I have stubby holders, and I have hats.
And I love your stubby holders too. I love I like your logo is so well designed, and it's just it's so you, and I love that your merch. It's perfect. It's beautiful logo. Mav said, "You go, brother."
Well, Mav's first name is Jamie, and his last name is Lindsay, right? And he actually gets mistaken for Jamie Lindsay. His name has been mistaken for me over the years, right? People have thought Jamie, his last name sounds like Lindsay a bit as well, right?
Yes.
So he calls himself Mav, right? Just so that there's no confusion there. And he told me that story the first time he interviewed me on radio. He told me that story. He's like, people go, Jamie Lindsay? No, Mav Menzie. Oh, okay, yeah, cool.
That is special. So that's why
that's why he calls himself Mav. And he's a beautiful guy too. He's so lovely. I talk to Mav all the time. He rang me before the awards. And he's an absolute beautiful soul. Love you, Mav. Thank you for everything that you do as well.
Absolutely. And he supports so much music. And not just you and me, and everybody. And it's so lovely to see people like yourself and Mav in the industry needs these sorts of things. And it's so beautiful to see people in Tassie, especially, just promoting what we've got here.
Especially you, Danni. What you do is absolutely wonderful. You are a very special person. You give up a lot of your time, a lot of your time for this show to support us, country music. People don't realize your contribution is massive. It's massive. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for letting me, because especially yourself and Marcelo have really given me such a leg up in the industry and taught me so much. So I love what we could do. But to me, music is so important, and we have to keep it going, especially Australian music. I think we've got some of the best musicians in the world here. And
I agree.
It's an honor to be able to help and to promote that, because I had that help growing up. And so I think it's just we're so special to have that and someone to teach them. And he said, thank you very much, Danni, but you do it as well. And you look exactly, Jamie. So it's amazing. It was interesting because last night watching you do the LAFM, and I've done a bit with them lately, and they support so much as well, which is also lovely. Like, we've got big stations around the country supporting country music, as well as your community stations and your volunteer stations. It's growing so well at the moment.
It's growing. They're absolutely wonderful. I reached out to them to do some advertising for the show, and they just took it. They took it so many more steps further than that. They could not be more helpful. They were lovely. Their whole team was so supportive of what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to just get my name back out there, reconnect with the fans that I used to have in the late 90s, and just, put on a good show. I just want to put on a good show, for everybody, and like, to be honest, like, I will not make any money out of this show because I put so much into it. But to me, it's the bigger picture. The bigger picture is you only get out of something what you put into it.
Yes, that's right. That's exactly right. Yeah.
And so I'm prepared to put a lot into it, and it can't be about the money. It can't be about money. It has to
No.
be. It has to be about the love of
The
what
love,
you
yeah.
do, and I love what I do, and I love performing to people, and that's why I'm here. You know,
Yes. Yeah. I
I'll
think,
be
yeah,
lucky to break even. You know, but
absolutely, yeah.
it's not about that. It's not about
It's
that.
and I have this conversation with a lot of people, but I always say, what would you do if you won the lotto? You know, if you won enough money that you didn't ever have to work again, and what would you do? And everyone's like, I would stop work, but I'd probably stop sometimes my day job, but
Oh,
I would still do music. I would still work in the industry, and I wouldn't change it. And that's, if you have that love for something, it's so
yeah.
important. But
I
yeah,
think
for us, it's not a choice. So money's not what we're here for. That's
no.
for sure.
If I had loads and loads and loads of money, I would pour it back into the industry. You know,
Yes.
I would set up more
Yeah.
songwriting camps and more
Yes.
development deals, and
Yes.
I'd do more and more and more. You know, that's what I would do with the money. I'd
Absolutely.
put it all back into the
Yes, yes.
industry. You know,
An
support.
industry that gives us so much, we just would want to give it back, and I'd be exactly the same. And
Yeah,
that to me is, if you've found that passion in something, that is the most important thing to
absolutely,
continue and enjoy. Yes.
absolutely. Hey, do you want to meet my dad just quickly?
I would love to see your dad. I haven't seen him for
Okay.
so long. I'm trying to think.
He's actually slow cooking some beef right now.
Yum. Oh,
He's got this
what
really
time will that
awesome
be ready?
slow cooker. Are you there, Dad? Oh yeah, he must be outside. When he comes
Jan,
back
I
in,
would do the same.
I'll grab him. I can. So the whole
No,
house just smells of this slow
beautiful.
cook beef. He's got some potatoes on the boil. He's got some corn. So this house right now, I'm just sitting here going,
No, amazing.
just so good. It's so good to be home. It's so good to
Oh,
be home.
it's such a homely feeling, isn't it?
It is. It really is.
And Jan she said, I would buy a property that could be used for festivals, and I would do exactly the same, Jan. I'd have it all set up, and I would do courses for musicians at any level, but to show them how to do it safely and support them, and create ways to get that out to people. Hello.
This is my dad, TJ.
I haven't seen you in so long.
This is Country Kickback, which goes out to the world.
Right.
So right now you are live to the world. This
We've got some people watching from the UK at the moment, and
everywhere. So watch your P's and Q's.
Just when I was leaving Nashville.
Yeah. All right. I was just saying that you're cooking some beef.
Yep.
What time will that be ready? I'll be there.
It's already ready. It's just in the slow cooker, just on slow, keeping it warm.
Keep it warm. Oh, yum! It's such a homely feeling, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's raining here at the moment, which would be good for the garden. So it's all good.
Dad's got a great little veggie patch out the back there. He's quite proud of it, aren't you, mate?
Yeah.
Yep. It's going good. All right, well, say goodbye,
Scott's
everyone.
got a question here for you. See, Scott's got a question for you. He said, are the Tonka trucks in the background, are they yours?
They're mine.
Yep, they're my dad's.
Right.
He's a bulldozer driver. He used to work
for Shaw's.
for Shaw's for 30 years. 30
Yeah.
years for Shaw's, right? So all the Tonka trucks and the bulldozers and the loader up there are all just memories.
That's only a couple of them. There's the biggest stack of them outside in the
He does.
carport.
He's got a huge collection of Tonka construction stuff, roadworks, all that kind of stuff. He loves them, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to come and visit next time you're down.
You will. You should. He's only in Hadsman. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not far.
No
It's
worries.
not far.
All right, mate.
We'll see you later. Before we do wrap it up, Jamie, I know you've got your show to get ready for, but social media and your website, are they the best places to keep an eye for shows when because on the road you hear a lot, and keeping an eye on where they can go and see you?
Absolutely. So website is jamielindsaymusic.com, and my socials are all Jamie Lindsay Music. Instagram, Facebook, all all the trendy platforms that everyone's using these days. I'm on there.
Oh, love it. Before you do go, come
Yeah.
over here. Someone's just walked in the door. We are live.
Is this your mum?
My
your new best
sister.
Hello.
And
Hello.
This is the shirt she's wearing.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm
I
not
love
wearing
it. Woohoo.
Casey Chambers.
Oh,
Am
I
I
love
not good
Casey.
enough?
So good. So
Oh,
good. Hi,
Um,
mate. How are you?
Good. Long time no see.
Yeah, like 24 hours,
Maybe not even.
maybe. So you made it up
Not
to my dinner, all right? That's good.
Yeah.
That's
Just
good.
got here.
Scotty, I don't know how you found the house. How did you know where I was?
Rang mum.
Oh,
Good old mum. Good
we
old
just
mum.
knocked on all the houses in the way in
No.
for dinner.
Enjoyed our little party in Nelson Place last night. It was good.
Yes.
It was
Look,
so cool. Such a good vibe. My pleasure.
Yeah.
My absolute pleasure. Loved it.
Well, thank you so much. We better let you get ready for your gig, but thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. It's always lovely having you on. I love it.
Absolutely.
Tonight, a quick reminder again, if you want to go and see Jamie in Launceston, he's playing at the Italian Club in Prospect, and you can get tickets on the door. It's only $20, isn't it? So
$20 for a great
Yeah,
show. 3 acts.
3 incredible acts. So make sure if you can get down there, and please send me photos because I'm
will.
gutted that I can't see it.
I'm gutted you're not there, but I'll see
Oh,
you in the
tomorrow.
morning tomorrow.
We will.
I will.
We
I will.
definitely will.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. I promise this will be our last show, official show for the day, but we do have some little plans this afternoon. We might do a few lives and a bit of recording and have a chat to some of the people coming in for the crowd. So if you're in Mathina, look out for us. We'll be doing a few videos. And if you're at Jamie's show, send us what you're seeing. But make sure you have a lovely weekend of live music.
Thanks, Danni.
Thank you, everybody. We'll see you soon.